Greetings from Tshwane University of Technology. Over the years, I've had the privilege to work and enjoy some of the most wild parts of the northern provinces of South Africa. My research is focused on the use of medicine and food, so it is quite appropriate that now I start to look at a bit of the mental health benefits that the environment provides to people. According to Dudley et al. 2010, in the book Sacred Natural Sites, research from over 100 sacred sites in Asia and Africa indicated that biodiversity had traditionally been better protected in sacred sites than in legally protected areas. The presentation format will look at the background of sacred sites, opportunities for freshwater protection, and some examples from the Northwest Province. Historically in Africa, spiritual places were strongly associated with biodiversity-rich areas, and they therefore play an important part in sustainability. In South Africa, community-based forest preservation has been promoted by traditional leaders. One of the most iconic South African forests is a hill covered by 13-meter-tall Modjadji cycads in the Limpopo province. It has been preserved by generations of the Bolobedu tribe's queens, and in recent years the hill was proclaimed a provincial nature reserve. The Vavenda people, also of Limpopo province, have rich indigenous knowledge and the oral history of sacred sites. The Tatavondo forest contains ancestral graves, and entry is controlled by one of the Venda clans. There is a belief that the area is protected by a sacred white lion. Similarly, another Vavenda clan are the custodians of South Africa's only natural freshwater lake, Lake Fundutsi, and the surrounding trees. The Tatavondo Forest and Lake Fundutsi are formally protected under the National Heritage Resources Act 25 of 1999. Nevertheless, even though these indigenous knowledge systems exist, there have been unfortunate events where the provincial authorities have allowed prospecting to take place in these sacred sites. And this has led to a lot of consternation amongst the communities that find these areas sacred and do not want to lose them. There is a growing practice within the African Apostolic faith in using naturally sourced fresh water from springs, waterfalls and rivers for baptisms and other rituals related to cleansing and healing in significant water catchment areas. The study aims to safeguard the use of natural water while protecting the function of the catchment and associated biodiversity. This article from the Melbourne Guardian laments the fact that baptisms and collection of water for drinking purposes are taking place in a water catchment that has been horribly and irreversibly damaged by sewage and pollutants from the mines that were started over a century ago. But can we do something to prevent other water catchments from going the same way? Another recent article appeared in the Daily Sun, and this was about a spring in Tembisa which is used for drinking purposes and to bathe in to bring people luck. And it's not only used by a traditional healer, but also by pastors and prophets that flock every day to the stream to fetch water. Now we have many examples all over South Africa and in other countries where we realize that the triple P of people, planet and prosperity are not converging for sustainability. And I think this is obviously because we're putting far too much emphasis on economic issues and prosperity, and this is leading to unsustainable choices. This project aims at changing the stewardship that is coming from the people and will benefit the planet. Okay, we know that we have to align people and planet. Otherwise, if we leave it only to government officials, prosperity and economic development will take the bulk of our natural capital. Now, my case study for today is actually the Magaliesberg Biosphere Reserve. And as all biosphere reserves, there are 3 zones. First of all, the core area, which is formally protected and has high biodiversity in it. A buffer zone where there is limited development taking place, for example, tourism and farming. And a transitional zone, which is an area of cooperation and must not harm the buffer or core areas. So in actual fact, there are 3 functions in a biosphere: conservation, support, which would be activities like environmental education and demonstration projects, and development. The Magaliesberg Biosphere Reserve is an extensive area stretching from Rustenburg to Tshwane and almost all the way to Krugersdorp. This means that it's very difficult to keep tabs on what is going on in this area, and there are a lot of illegal activities that are taking place. These involve urban sprawl, hit and run mining, illegal developments and inappropriate commercial operations that exploit the groundwater resources and riverine zones, extensive poaching, poor municipal regulations of the core area, illegal mining operations, poverty and poor social conditions are leading to pollution and degradation of the natural environment. And there's a problem of invasive alien plants, including the water hyacinth growing in the Hartbeespoort Dam. The top of the Magaliesberg, or the summit, acts like a sponge, collecting and filtering the rainwater in the wetlands and grasslands. A substantial amount of the Magaliesberg biosphere is also made up of grasslands, which at first might not appear very spectacular, but comprise of surprising plants such as the elephant fairyfoot, which actually looks like quartzite pebbles until it flowers, and of course the iconic aloe pegloray, which is endemic to the Magaliesberg Biosphere Reserve. And this school group is actually at the Tshwane Nature Reserve, and in the distance is actually the Northwest Province's largest wetland, which cascades down into the lowlands in a beautiful waterfall. 1,200 million years ago, the Pilanesberg volcano erupted and flowed through fissures in the quartzite rocks, forming incredible cliffs with Afromontane forest and high water quality. It was in one of these cliffs where a member of an African Apostolic Church went alone to collect holy water. Unfortunately, he stumbled and his leg got caught in between 2 rocks, which resulted in a 50-hour rescue operation and the amputation of his leg. Going to the site, one can see that the path is very well worn, but actually very, very dangerous. Why is it that sacred sites in other parts of the world, for example the climb to Mount Sinai, have decent and safe structures to enable people to make use of the sacredness of the area? But in South Africa, people actually have to just do it without any safety precautions in place. Currently, we have 20 sites identified in the Northwest Province. I have a student working on the Engelberg site, which is close to Zeerust, and we know that people have come as far away as Randfontein from Gauteng and from Kimberley to the site. The other student is working in Majakaneng, These are some examples of the areas that are being used. And what we hope to achieve in this study is we hope to actually talk to people and to see if we can find mutual benefit to collaborate. First of all, to protect biodiversity and also to make sacred holy water more accessible to people and conditions more safe for them. With participatory action research, we actually don't come with the solutions, but we ask the people that we are working with to think of solutions. And at the end of the day, we hope that the social ecological system, which is currently in place, can be improved and that biodiversity can be protected. A big thank you to the Tshwane University of Technology, as well as to Jerry Kominos. Thank you for your attention.